And to come out of this heedlessness of the Day of Judgment, of our duty to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, what do we need? The Qur'an. So Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala says, Ya ayyuhan nas, O people, O mankind, all people are being addressed. Ya ayyuhan nas, qad ja'atkum maw'idhatun min rabbikum. Certainly there has come to you instruction from your Lord. Allah is instructing you, and He has sent to you an instruction. Maw'idhatun min rabbikum. And it's not just an instruction, but what else is it? وَشِفَاءٌ لِمَا فِي الصُّدُورِ. And a healing for what is in the chests. وَهُدًى. And a guidance. وَرَحْمَةً. And a mercy. For who? لِلْمُؤْمِنِينَ. For those people who believe. All people are being addressed over here. That قَدْ جَاءَتْكُمْ مَوْعِظَةٌ. And admonition and instruction has come to you from Allah. What is this maw'idha? The Qur'an. The Qur'an is a maw'idha from Allah. And the Qur'an is also a shifa, a cure, a remedy, a healing. Now the question is, what is a maw'idha? Maw'idha is from the root letters waw, ayn, dha. And what does waw mean? To admonish someone, to advise someone. Basically, maw'idha is a reminder of, first of all, khair, goodness, haqq, righteousness, piety. So it is to remind someone of that which is good for them, that which is beneficial for them, a righteous action, that which is the truth. So it is to remind someone of, first of all, khair, haqq, righteousness. Secondly, it also includes that a person reminds the other of abstaining from shar, from evil, from disobedience, from batil, from that which is wrong. So you see there's two things in it. That you're telling someone to do good, and at the same time you're stopping them from doing that which is wrong. You're telling them about that which is going to benefit them, and at the same time you're warning them against what? That could harm them. So there's two things involved in it. And how does a person give this maw'idha? With ikhlas, with sincerity, with well-wishing. That you really want good for the other. You really want him to be saved. You really want him to benefit. You really want him to succeed. This is why you will tell him what to do and what not to do. Isn't it? Like for example, if you've taken an exam before, a certain type of exam, and your friend is about to take that exam as well, what are you going to do? You're going to say, make sure you study this and this. And this stuff, don't worry too much about it. Focus on this stuff. Right? This is what maw'idha is. To advise someone to do that which is good, advise them to stay away from that which is wrong, and this is done with ikhlas, with sincerity. And also in a manner that is effective. In a manner that is effective. In a manner that is heart-softening. Because sometimes what happens? We are given instructions, but they don't strike us at all. We are given advice, but it doesn't make any effect on our heart. We don't want to do it. We forget about it. But if something really touches our heart, we remember it. And you want to do it. This is what maw'idha is. So basically it includes encouragement, it includes warning, it includes advice. And it shows to a person that this is really what is good for me. This is what's going to work for me. And this is what the Qur'an is. That Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, in the Qur'an, He teaches us what is khair, what is righteousness, what do we have to do to be successful. So many times we have learned in the Qur'an, وَذَلِكَ هُوَ الْفَوْزُ الْعَظِيمُ. That is a great success. That for people who do such and such, they will have jannat. They will have reward. Allah gives them good news of reward. So many times we have read in the Qur'an. Similarly, at the same time there is warning against what must be avoided, what leads to failure in the hereafter. And this is done with encouragement, as well as in a very effective manner. So قَدْ جَاءَتْكُمْ مَوْعِظَةٌ The Quran has come to you, and it is full of advice, it is full of admonition, it is full of instruction for you, and it has come to you from who? مِن رَبِّكُمْ, from your Lord. Sometimes what happens? We hear about something, somebody tells us, we don't want to listen to them, because it's coming from who? A person. And we have a bias against that person, we don't really get along with them. But if we read the exact same thing in the Quran, the exact same lesson, what happens? It becomes easier to accept. Isn't it so? Like for example, if before your parents would tell you, pray salah. Come on, it's time to pray. Get up and pray. Perhaps many of us were like, no. Why? See, again she's telling me to pray. But when we learn in the Quran about the importance of establishing the salah, then what happens? Doesn't it become easier to do it? Because you know it's coming from Allah. So مِن رَبِّكُمْ, from your Lord. And this Quran is washifa, and a cure. It is a healing. It is a remedy. For what? لِمَا فِي الصُّدُورِ, for that which is in the chests. As-sudur is a plural of sadr. Now what is in the chest? The heart. And what is in the heart? Many things. Many things are there in the heart. And a shifa, a cure, is obviously for a problem, for a disease. So in the heart are many diseases, many problems, many illnesses. And these diseases can be physical as well as spiritual. So Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala says that the Quran is a cure, it is a remedy for any disease of the heart. Obviously what is meant over here is the spiritual diseases. What are some of the spiritual diseases, many spiritual diseases that people suffer from in their hearts? Hypocrisy, disbelief, jealousy. It's a big illness. It's a major illness. It's a life-threatening illness. What else? Laziness, okay. Arrogance, kibr. Doubts. Having doubts about Allah, having doubts about the Quran, having doubts about the Day of Judgment. What else? What other diseases of the heart are there? If we don't even know about the diseases, then how can we think about curing them? Love for the dunya. That's a major illness. Depression. Depression, sadness. That when a person has so much, he has love from his family, he has money, he has food, he has everything in life, but still he is sad in his heart. He is not satisfied. He is depressed. Depression is a major illness of the heart. What else? Riya, showing off, wanting approval from people, not doing things for Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala exclusively. This is also a major problem. Hatred, hating other people. Because when a person has hatred against someone, then he is literally killing himself. It eats him up. Because the other person has no idea sometimes. Who is getting harmed? The person himself. And just like a heart disease, it affects the rest of the body. Hatred and all other diseases of the heart, what do? They affect our body, they affect our behavior, they affect our actions, they affect our thinking. What other diseases of the heart are there? Stinginess. Shuh. وَأُحْضِرَتِ الْأَنفُسُ الشُّحْ. What is shuh? Stinginess, miserliness, not wanting to part from what you love. You can't share anything with someone. This is what shuh is. Bias. Bias against other people. Anger. Similarly, shahawat, desires. Shubuhat, doubts. Ignorance. What about stress? Stress. When people take stress at every little thing. That also comes from the heart. Because some people, they're going through such major problems, but still you will not find them stressful. But other people, the slightest of thing will stress them out. Stress, depression. All of these things are what? Of the diseases of the heart. What does Allah say? The Quran is a shifa for all that is in the sudur. Any disease of the heart, where will you find the cure? In the Quran. وَهُدًى, and it is a guide, وَرَحْمَةً, and a mercy. For who? لِلْمُؤْمِنِينَ, for the believers. So we see that at the beginning, who is addressed? Ya ayyuhan nas. The Qur'an is for everyone. However, who is it that's really going to benefit from the Qur'an? It's the mu'mineen. For them, it is a shifa, it is a huda, it is a rahmah. The message is for all people, but only the believers benefit. We learn in Surah Al-Isra, ayah number 82, وَنُنَزِّلُ مِنَ الْقُرْآنِ مَا هُوَ شِفَاءٌ وَرَحْمَةٌ لِلْمُؤْمِنِينَ. And we send down of the Qur'an that which is a cure and a mercy. For who? For those people who believe. وَلَا يَزِيدُ الظَّالِمِينَ إِلَّا خَسَارًا. And it increases the wrongdoers nothing but loss. Similarly in Surah Fussilat, ayah number 44, we learn, قُلْ هُوَ لِلَّذِينَ آمَنُوا هُدًى وَشِفَاءً. Say, it is for those who believe a guide and a cure. The Qur'an is a guide and a cure for those people who believe. Similarly in Surah Ali Imran, ayah 138, we learn, هَذَا بَيَانٌ لِلنَّاسِ وَهُدًى وَمَوْعِظَةٌ لِلْمُتَّقِينَ. This Qur'an is a clear statement to all the people and a guidance and instruction for those who are conscious of Allah, al-muttaqeen. So we see in this ayah that Qur'an is maw'idah. It tells us what to do. Secondly, it is a shifa. It's a cure. It's a remedy. Once, a person came to the Prophet ﷺ. It is recorded by Ibn Mardawayh that a person once came to the Prophet ﷺ and he said, Inni ashtaki sadri. That I have a complaint in my chest, meaning my heart, my chest, I feel bad. I'm not comfortable. I'm depressed. I'm sad. I'm hurting. It's not that I'm hurting physically. It's my heart, my sadr. I don't feel well. Qala, he said, the Prophet ﷺ replied, Iqra il-Qur'an. Recite the Qur'an. Read the Qur'an. لِقَوْلِ اللَّهِ تَعَالَى وَشِفَاءٌ لِمَا فِي الصُّدُورِ. Recite the Qur'an because Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala has said, it is a cure for that which is in the heart. Sometimes a person says something to us and we feel as if our heart is tightening. Why is she telling me to do this? Who is she to tell me? We feel our heart constricting. Haraj. Remember? Similarly, a person is sad. He is depressed. He is anxious. He is stressed out. What is the cure? Where is the cure? It's in the Qur'an. There are many people who are ill today. Not physically, but otherwise. They complain of sadness. They complain of loneliness. They complain of depression. And many other problems. The one who has made the hearts, he is telling us what the cure is to the diseases of the heart. What is that cure? The Qur'an. The cure to any disease of the heart. Now the Qur'an, it becomes shifa for a person when a person uses this shifa correctly. When a person uses this shifa properly. If a person is hurting, if a person is sad, he is worried, he is anxious, then he is definitely ill. And he needs to cure that. Remember, if a person is jealous, if a person is sad, you shouldn't just feel, okay, this is a problem that I'm suffering from, just accept it. No. لِكُلِّ دَاءٍ dawa. For every ailment, there is a cure. And Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala has given us that cure. Why? So that we cure ourselves. So that we fix ourselves. So if a person is suffering from a problem at heart, then what does he need to do? He must solve it. He must cure himself. And how will that be done? How will that be done? By using the right medication. What is the right medication for the illness of the heart? The Qur'an. And the medication will only work if a person uses it properly. Isn't it? If you just buy the medication, and you put it in your kitchen, on the counter, so that you can see it every day, is it going to work? Let's say you carry it in your bag even. Is it going to work? No. If you open it, you look at it, you count the pills, you smell it, you tell everybody about it, you read about the medication, but you don't put it in your mouth. Is it going to benefit you? No. If you just look at it, if you just think about it, if you just say you're going to use it, You go to the doctor, you get the prescription, you even go buy it. It's not going to help you unless and until you use it. And let's say you do use it, but you don't use it properly. For example, you're supposed to use the medication twice a day. What do? You skip many days in the middle. You skip many doses in the middle. Is it going to work? It's not going to work. Similarly, in order to be cured by the Quran, what does a person need to do? Does he just need to memorize the translation? Does he just need to pass the tests? What does he need to do? He needs to recite it. Just in Tajweed class? No. Not just in Tajweed class. He needs to recite it. In his salah, outside of salah, when he is alone, in the hours of the night, early in the morning, throughout the day, he needs to recite the Quran. He needs to take that medication. Only then he will get the cure. And he needs to take it consistently. It's not possible that a person takes a medication and then he leaves it for an entire week. He leaves it for the weekend. Do you get any break from taking your medication on the weekends? Do you? No. Do you say, okay, I want to take off today. No medication for me today. People who have serious illnesses, especially heart illnesses, they have to take their medication properly. They cannot take even one break. They cannot miss even one dose. If they do, the consequences are very serious. Similarly, for a person who wants to cure himself from the Quran, with the Quran, he cannot part from the Quran. He cannot say, I read it from Monday to Friday. Now I need a break on Saturday and Sunday. Now I need a break for an entire week. No, if you do that, it's not going to work. It's not going to work. You have to take it consistently. Similarly, when you're taking a medication, you have to be certain that it's going to work on you. Isn't it? You have to have that yaqeen. Because if you keep saying, no, this is not going to work, this is not going to work, believe me, it's not going to work. If you are certain, if you are confident that this medication is going to work on me, then it's going to work on you. Even if it's placebo. Isn't it? Even if it's not real, even if it's fake, even if it's just sugar pills. Huh? And somebody gives it to you, and you think that, yes, this is the cure to my problem, you have it, inshallah, it will work. Because cure has a lot to do with the state of your mind. Similarly, a person must have this confidence in the Quran that this is the solution to my problems. This is where I will find the cure. Without doubt, definitely this Quran is going to cure me. Nothing can cure me. No depression pills can cure me. No talking to people can cure me. What is going to cure me? The Quran. Now the question is, how does the Quran cure a person? How? For that which is in the heart. If you look at it, the Quran is the speech of who? Of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. And who does Allah address in the Quran? Every single person. Every single person is addressed in the Quran. So the questions, the worries, the anxieties that a person has, when he reads the Quran, his questions are answered. When he reads the Quran, his doubts are removed. He feels acknowledged. So as a person reads the Quran, the shifa comes to him. But it's only possible if he reads the Quran. So for example, if a person has a doubt, for example, he wonders, is Allah really there? Does He really listen to my prayers? I've been making dua for so long. I'm in such a terrible situation, but is Allah really there? Does He really see my situation? It happens. Even the most righteous people sometimes, they wonder about such things. People who have never missed their salah. When they're in a very difficult situation, they begin to wonder, where is Allah? So when a person reads the Quran, he reaches Surah Ibrahim, ayah number 10. He reads, أَفِي اللَّهِ شَكٌّ? Do you have a doubt in Allah? Are you doubting in Allah? فَاطِرَ السَّمَاوَاتِ وَالْأَرْضِ. He is the originator of the heavens and the earth. يَدْعُوكُمْ لِيَغْفِرَ لَكُمْ. He is inviting you that He may forgive you. So when a person reads the Quran, the doubts, the questions that he has in his heart, they are answered. Similarly, anger. We discussed that it is a disease of the heart. When a person reads the Quran, he reaches Surah Shura, ayah 37, and he reads, إِذَا مَا غَضِبُوا هُمْ يَغْفِرُونَ. When they're angry, they forgive. When a person reaches Surah Al-A'raf, ayah 199, he reads, خُذِ الْعَفْوَ. Take hold of forgiveness and pardon at every situation. Now tell me, if you read خُذِ الْعَفْوَ 2 months ago, and after that you didn't read it again, you didn't take that medication again, how are you going to benefit? Tell me. How are you going to benefit? You have to keep reading. You have to stay connected with the Quran. Because when you stay connected, it keeps guiding you. It keeps curing you. Likewise, there are many ups and downs in a person's life. Throughout one's life, a person faces many problems. An accident, death of a relative, sickness, loss. And then when he reads in Surah Ash-Shura, ayah 30, that وَمَا أَصَابَكُم مِّن مُّصِيبَةٍ فَبِمَا كَسَبَتْ أَيْدِيكُمْ. That whatever disaster reaches you, it's because of what your hands have acquired. It's because of what you've done yourself. So when a person reads this, what does he begin to do? He begins to reflect on his own actions. What have I done wrong? And if a person does not read it, what will he think? It's because of this person, it's because of that person. He becomes impatient, he becomes angry, he becomes frustrated. So the Quran is what cures a person. Likewise, things happen in a person's life and he thinks that he cannot bear them. He cannot tolerate things anymore at all. Things must change. However, when he reads, وَعَسَىٰ أَن تَكْرَهُ شَيْئًا وَهُوَ خَيْرٌ لَكُمْ وَعَسَىٰ أَن تُحِبُّوا شَيْئًا وَهُوَ شَرٌ لَكُمْ. It's possible you don't like something, it's good for you. It's possible that you like something and it's bad for you. وَاللَّهُ يَعْلَمُ وَأَنْتُمْ لَا تَعْلَمُونَ. Allah knows and you don't know. So this is how the Quran cures a person. That the doubts a person has, the questions that a person has, the anger, the frustration, the problems that he's going through in life, where does he get the answers from? The Quran. But it's only possible when a person remains connected. And I'm sure many such incidents have happened with you. That you're going through a certain problem or a certain phase and you're wondering about something and there the answer comes in the Quran. It happens with us almost every other day, if not every day. We find the answers in the Quran. So if a person does not take this medication, then how will he help himself? So the Quran becomes a shifa, it becomes huda, it becomes rahmah, because it takes the people out of their problems. As we learn in Surah Al-Ra'd, ayah 28, that أَلَا بِذِكْرِ اللَّهِ تَطْمَئِنُّ الْقُلُوبِ. That unquestionably, by the remembrance of Allah, hearts are assured. That is where the hearts find peace. Where? Where? In the dhikr of Allah. And what's one of the best forms of remembering Allah? Reciting the Quran. Because when you will read, you will find the answers. If you look at it, sometimes people have everything. They can have anything that they want. However, they still feel as if something is missing in their lives. They still feel that there's something is missing and they're not happy. They're not content. They're not satisfied. And generally what happens in these situations? When people are sad, they leave the house, they go shopping. Perhaps shopping will make me happy. Or for example, they will call someone. Perhaps they will make me happy. They will turn the TV on. Perhaps I will watch something that will be amusing and I will be happy. They will start watching a movie. They will start listening to something. Perhaps it will make them happy. That is not the cure. It's not the cure. Shopping is not the cure. Buying is not the cure. Talking to other people is not the cure. What is the cure? It's in the Quran. Just like when children, when they're hungry, they don't know they're hungry, right? And they become very cranky, very upset. They begin to cry. They don't know what's going on with them. But the mother, she knows, okay, he hasn't eaten, this is why he's behaving like this. And once the child is given the food, once the child is fed, he's fine. Isn't it? Isn't it? So if you keep distracting the child, okay, take the child out to play or show him something, he's not going to be happy. You do one thing after the other, he's not going to be happy unless and until he eats something. Isn't it so? So when we are ill, when we are sad, when we are depressed, the answer is in the Quran. And what do we need to do? We need to turn to the Quran. we need to open up the Quran and start reading. Not start calling other people or going online to check, okay, has somebody sent an email to me? Did anyone remember me or not? Or check what's out there in the malls. What is the cure? In opening the Quran. Because if we keep turning to other things, we will never be satisfied. We will never be happy. Qul, say, بِفَضْلِ اللَّهِ, in the bounty of Allah, وَبِرَحْمَتِهِ, and in His mercy. بِفَضْلِ اللَّهِ وَبِرَحْمَتِهِ. What does the fadl of Allah refer to? The Quran. That the Quran that Allah has given to someone. This is an extra, a special favor on a person. Just think about it. So many people are out there in this world, suffering from so many problems. But Allah has chosen you for this fadl. That He has given you the Quran. He has given you the ability, the opportunity to open the Quran every single day. This is a fadl. This is a special favor from Allah. The Quran. وَبِرَحْمَتِهِ, and also because of His rahmah. What does the rahmah of Allah refer to? That a person is able to benefit from the Quran. A person is able to take guidance and cure from the Quran. Because there are many people, again, who know the Quran, who read the Quran, but they don't benefit from it. So because of this fadl of Allah, and because of this rahmah of Allah, فَبِذَلِكَ فَلْيَفْرَحُوا, in that let them rejoice. In that they should be happy. فَلْيَفْرَحُوا. فَلْيَفْرَحُوا is from the root letters. فَرَحَ, فَرِحَ, فَرْح, which is to be happy. When is a person happy? When he gets that which he likes. When he's satisfied. When he's content. So because you have been given this fadl, and because you have benefited from the Quran, be happy because of that. And the word ذَلِكَ, it gives a sense of only because of this. People become happy when they eat nice food. When they go somewhere. When somebody praises them. But what does Allah say? That they should be happy because of the Quran. That they have managed to understand a part of the Quran, reflect on a part of the Quran, benefit from it. فَبِذَلِكَ فَلْيَفْرَحُوا. Why? Because هُوَ خَيْرٌ, it is better مِمَّا يَجْمَعُونَ, from all that people gather. The Quran is better. The Quran is far better than all those things that the people can collect, that people can hoard, that people can amass in this world. Compared to all those things that people are gathering, the one who receives the Quran, he should be more happy. He should be happier. When people manage to have a good collection of, let's say, clothes, they're so happy. Now I have this and this and this. When a person has a collection of an iPhone and an iPod and an iPad and an iMac, then what happens? He becomes so happy. I have this whole collection. The person becomes so proud of himself. But what does Allah say? What should you be happy about? The Quran. People become very happy when they have their collections. But a person who has been given the Quran, he should be happier. He should be more happy. Because he has been given something that is far better. That is way better. So what do we learn? That a person must be happy when he receives the Quran. Because he has been given something very special. We learn from the hadith, the Prophet ﷺ said, إِنَّ لِلَّهِ تَعَالَى أَهْلِينَ مِنَ النَّاسِ أَهْلُ الْقُرْآنِ هُمْ أَهْلُ اللَّهِ وَخَاصَّتُهُ. That from amongst people, there are some special ones. Special ones to Allah. And who are they? They are the Ahlul Quran, the people of the Quran. So those people whom Allah has chosen for the Quran, they should be very happy. They should be joyful. They should rejoice because Allah has given them the best. The best that is out there, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala has given them. Because when a person, when he has the Quran, he develops a strong relationship with Allah. A very deep friendship with Allah. A very deep friendship, connection with Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Of trust, of dependence, of reliance, of sharing your problems and your happiness with Allah wherever you are, of thinking about Him, depending upon Him. And this is only possible when a person receives the Qur'an. So in developing this friendship with Allah, one should be happy. Because if a person has the friendship of Allah, then he is the richest. And if a person does not have the friendship of Allah, then he is the poorest. Because nothing else can be its equivalent. It is said, لِكُلِّ شَيْءٍ إِذَا فَارَقْتَهُ عِوَضٌ وَلَيْسَ لِلَّهِ إِن فَارَقْتَ مِنْ عِوَضٍ. For everything that you leave in this world, there is a substitute. Anything that you miss, anything that you lose, anything that you leave, you can find a substitute for it. If you miss out on eating at one restaurant, you can eat at another. No big deal. You will still have your stomach full. If you miss out on one pair of shoes, you can buy another. If you miss out on one party, you can go to another. If you don't go to one country, you can go to another. For everything in this world, there is a substitute. But if you depart from Allah, there is no substitute for Him. وَلَيْسَ لِلَّهِ إِن فَارَقْتَ مِنْ عِوَضٍ. If you are far from Allah, if you don't have a friendship with Allah, then you don't have anything. There is no substitute for Allah. Nothing at all. And generally what happens? Because we don't have this strong connection with Allah, strong friendship with Allah, people turn to other things. And they think that if they collect many things, they will become happy. Isn't it? هُوَ خَيْرٌ مِمَّا يَجْمَعُونَ. People collect different things. Many things of this world. Anything and everything, you will find somebody with a collection of it. You name it, somebody or the other has a collection. Isn't it so? Somebody has a collection of rocks, another person has a collection of keychains, another person has a collection of bags, another person has a collection of yogurt boxes. I mean, people collect the most random things. The most random things. Scarves, hijab pins, furniture, carpets, rugs. Different things. From the most valuable to the most cheapest to the most insignificant to the most useless. People collect things. Why? What's the psychology behind it? What's the psychology behind it? What's the reason behind it? Why do people collect things? Think about it. If you've collected a lot of hijabs, a lot of kitchen stuff, a lot of house stuff, what's the reason behind it? What is it that you feel when you look at your collection? You feel happy. You feel you have something. When you need it, you will find it. Isn't it so? Like for example, when people collect little plastic containers and plastic bags, why? That when I need it, I will have it. Right? Or different colored hijabs, why? To match this garment, to match this shirt, to match this pair of pants, to match this hijab pin. Sometimes I wonder if people have hijab pins of all colors. All colors. Why? Because when I want to match this with this, I will have it. So the reason behind collecting things is to find happiness, to find contentment. But do you really find that happiness? You don't. The more you collect of this world, the more complicated and difficult and stressful your life becomes. The more dishes you have, the more you have to wash. The more clothes you have, the more you have to organize. Isn't it? Anything that you have of this world, your life becomes more and more complicated. You cannot find that happiness. You cannot find that happiness. What is it that truly brings happiness to a person? When he has a friendship, a bonding, a connection with Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Because then, whether he has something or he doesn't have it, he will be happy. No matter where he is, he will be content, he will be satisfied, he will be happy. So instead of pursuing different things of this dunya, collecting this and collecting that, what should we be collecting? What should we be collecting? The Qur'an. And it doesn't mean you buy one copy of the Qur'an from one place, another copy from another place. What does it mean? You collect it in your heart. You gather it in your heart. Because when you have collected it in your heart, then you will be able to use it at the right time. Then you will remember it at the right occasion. Then you will be able to benefit from it. if you make this Quran a source of peace for yourself in this life, then you will be able to have peace in the hereafter. But if you think that peace will come to you by having clothes and shoes and bags and different things of this world, you will not have peace. All your peace will instead be taken away from you. Because today you're dusting, tomorrow you're sorting, day after you are thinking, what do I keep, what do I not keep? Because it's getting too much. If you look at when we're going through some problems, when we're going through some difficulty, perhaps we're hurting in our heart, we're feeling bad, we're feeling very depressed. What do we do generally? We go to other people, we start talking to them. We say, okay, what do you have to say? And sometimes they cannot help us at all. They really cannot help us. And at the end we come back thinking, we just told everybody about our uyub, our faults. We spread our dirty laundry in front of other people. And it didn't benefit us at all. But on the other hand, if you open up the Quran, that's much better for you. Why? Because there you will find answers. There you will find the solutions. There you will find the guidance. And if you think, no, the answer is not in the Quran. It's in talking to other people. How can the Quran, which was revealed to the Prophet ﷺ, how can that guide me? How is it possible? If a person does not have that yaqeen, then definitely he will not be able to benefit from the Quran. So, the cure is not in collecting things, but in turning to the Quran. Like it is said that if you want to talk to Allah, pray. And if you want to listen to Allah, read the Quran. That's how you have a conversation. And the best way of doing that is in salah. That when you recite the Quran, in the salah. Let's listen to the recitation of these ayat and then we'll do some more discussion. You see, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala says, هُوَ خَيْرٌ مِمَّا يَجْمَعُونَ. It is better than what they gather. Who does they refer to? The people of this dunya. They has been used, not you. What people gather. People of this dunya, the people whose goal, whose ultimate is this world. They think that the happiness of this world is the ultimate happiness. And the sadness of this world is the ultimate sadness. And the success of this world is the ultimate success. The defeat of this world is the ultimate defeat. What do these people do? In order to be happy, they collect things of this world. And they become very attached to them. Very attached. If you think of it, your things, you find them very precious. You're very attached to them. But at the same time, they are garbage in the eyes of other people. Isn't it so? Sometimes take other people's opinion on the things that you own. Honestly, books that you have, clothes that you have, the kitchen stuff that you have, even your own children. Ask them, what do you think about this? What do you think about this? Honestly. To you, it's very precious. In other people's eyes, it's garbage. It's useless. So, what is it that truly has value? The things of this dunya, they don't have any value. They don't have any value at all. So we should stop trying to satisfy our hearts by collecting the things of this world. And we should spend our time in collecting gems from the Quran. Because the more you collect from this world, the more time you have to dedicate to it. The more you collect of the Quran, the more time you will have to dedicate to it. So it depends. What do you want for yourself? And if you look at it, what you have today, you keep it with so much care. The glasses that you have, the tables that we have, we prevent them from scratches. So many things that we have. We try to take care of them so much. But what happens? Those very things, sometimes they get destroyed before our eyes. And if not before our eyes, within a few years, what's going to happen to them? They're going to end up in the garbage. And eventually what's going to happen? كَلَّا إِذَا دُكَّتِ الْأَرْضُ دَكًّا دَكًّا. What do we learn in Surah Al-Fajr, ayah 21? That when the earth has been leveled, pounded, and crushed. Leveled, pounded, and crushed. Think about the lovely china that people have in their glass cabinets. Perhaps we have in our glass cabinets as well. Think about that jewelry that we keep in lovely boxes. in our jewelry boxes, so that nothing can scratch them, about the surfaces of the tables that we protect from scratches. If we spend our life looking after these things, collecting these things, what is the end of these things? They will be leveled, they'll be pounded, they'll be crushed. Just like you put something in a blender, it's crushed to powder. The whole world is going to be crushed to powder. Do these things really have any value? Any value at all? They don't have any value. But at the same time, if you spend your time with the Qur'an, then what's going to happen? The Qur'an is going to be your companion in your grave, where your things will not accompany you, no matter how much you like them, no matter how dear they are to you. They're not going to come to you to your grave. What is going to come to you? The Qur'an. As a companion, a beautiful companion. On the Day of Judgment, the Qur'an will be your companion, not the crystal and the china that you looked after so much in this world. Not that whole collection of shoes, of clothes, of belts, of pins that we have. No. What is it that's going to accompany us? What? It's the Qur'an. So be wise. Don't short sell yourself. Be wise. Spend your time with the Qur'an. Don't spend your time with the things of this world. Because the things of this world, they'll be leveled. And the Qur'an will accompany you. فَبِذَلِكَ فَلْيَفْرَحُوا. It's with this Qur'an only that they should be happy. That when they look at the Qur'an, they should be happy. Not that when they look at their collection, they're very happy. And we need to ask ourselves, when do we really become happy? If you look at it, our problem is that we consider the success of this life to be the ultimate success, which is why people who have a lot of dunya, who have collected many things, perhaps many degrees, who have collected many houses, many cars, many friendships, for us, that is a criteria of success. Whereas if you look at it, our salaf, the pious predecessors, what is it that they collected? The Qur'an, the deen, the knowledge. And you will find so many incidents in which the Sahaba or the Tabi'un or the great scholars of our religion, they did not even have 2 pairs of clothes. Just imagine, they didn't even have 2 pairs of clothes because they spent their life, their time gathering what? The Qur'an, the Hadith. They didn't spend their life gathering the cents and the pennies of this world. They didn't waste their life in that. Exactly. This is why the inheritance of the prophets is what? Knowledge. It's not the money that they leave behind. So we also have to choose the best for ourselves, not this world.